What's going on, everybody? Happy 4th of July to all of you. And I'm very wide awake on this Tuesday morning. So, me and my guy Jim, we will be talking about some of the key free agents that have signed with new teams. So far, it's been a wild off season in hockey, but you'll hear what Jim has to say in the part two, in the second half of this video. As for me, I'm just gonna quickly talk about Jonathan Quick, Tyler Bertuzzi, and Max Domi. Jonathan Quick, he signed a 1 year deal with the Rangers. The Rangers got older. They continue to have more depth, but they got older. Jonathan Quick, he still has a lot left in the tank. He just won a Stanley Cup title with the Vegas Golden Knights. He's won two titles with the Los Angeles Kings. He brings championship experience to the Rangers. Experience overall, I feel like that he'll be a great asset to their locker room. So I like the signing for the Rangers. I just hope that Jonathan Quick can stay healthy and he can produce. Igor Shesterkin obviously is the starting goalie, but if anything, Jonathan Quick is right there in case the Rangers need him. So I like the signing. Toronto, Brad Trey Living as the GM, he is making moves. I'm impressed. He signed Tyler Bertuzzi. Tyler Bertuzzi, he was an All-Star in 2020 with the Detroit Red Wings. Last season, he was with Boston Bruins, the number one seed. And now he signed with the Toronto Maple Leafs. I feel that this is a good signing as well for Toronto Maple Leafs. I feel that he brings tenacity, he brings toughness to their team. And he's 28 years old. He's in his prime, so let's see how I have a good feeling that he will thrive in Toronto. And one of the reasons why he came to Toronto is because he feel like it gives him the best chance to win. So I hope he's right. I hope that Brad Trey Living turns out to be right with the signings, because at the end of the day, the players got to produce. A GM, an owner, a coach can do so much, but the players got to go out there and perform and earn their money. So I like the signing by Toronto. And Max Domi, another huge addition to Toronto Maple Leafs. Man, and I saw that he wasted no time on Twitter, express his gratitude that he's coming to Toronto. So I'm really liking the moves that the Toronto Maple Leafs are taking this offseason. And mind you, they have not traded away any of the core four members. So there's plenty of more time to see what's going to happen. There's still a lot more left to go, what's going to happen in this offseason. But if anything, me and my guy, Jim Biringer, we're going to continue to inform you guys about this offseason. Now, here's Jim Biringer with his thoughts on the free agents that have signed with new teams this offseason so far.
Hey, what's going on? Journal fans, Jim Beringer here, alongside Miguel Mike Medina. We're talking about free agency over the weekend. NHL free agency wrapped up. Still going on, but the big day, July 1st, signing day. That was the big day for a lot of teams to do things. Again, do they do wise things or do they do good things? I'm going to look at both because I have some concerns about some of the signings. Particularly, and I'm going to start off with Tristan Jarry at the Pittsburgh Penguins. Look, Kyle Dubas is the president of hockey operations right now, and he's the interim GM of the Pittsburgh Penguins. But to me, 5 years at 5.375 for Jarry, guy who's been injury prone, a guy who hasn't won a playoff series yet, is getting that kind of money and that kind of term. They did not believe in him, and they were going to move on from him. But again, was he the best option? Were there trades available that they just couldn't pull off because of the salary cap? And I think that's what we have to take away from this weekend and this past week is that the salary cap's wreaking havoc on everything. The salary cap's the big winner of this. Only going up $1 million, really, the flat cap at $83.5 million does not give a lot of teams a lot of leeway. Now, you can look at the Devils, Tom Fitzgerald. They do great things, keeping guys under term, obviously re-signing Timo Meyer, which Miguel Mike Medina outlined so beautifully. on the MMM Journal. You trade for Tyler Toffoli, you re-sign McLeod, Bastian, guys like that. But then you look at Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh's in a different situation, right? They're an aging team. Yes, you can't count out Sidney Crosby, Genny Malkin, and Chris Letang. I get that. But Tristan Jarry, I know the Game 7 against the Rangers, he played great, he played bad on the ankle and the leg. But 5 years for a guy who was very questionable this season and a big reason why the Pittsburgh Penguins did not make the playoffs. Let's be honest, their goaltending needed to improve. They needed to do it at the deadline. They didn't do it. And to be honest, I don't think they improved here. Maybe Jarry can prove a lot of people wrong, but at that kind of term, that kind of money, Talbot was out there, Korpisalo was out there. Maybe they couldn't trade for Gibson. Maybe they couldn't trade for Connor Hellebuck. But that's a bad signing. And then he gives out 6 years at 4 for Ryan Graves. Look, Graves is a great player. But again, the term and the length, they did great with Achari and Eller and players like that. But again, it proves to me that Kyle Dubas was just going to run it back in Toronto. Again, you re-sign your own guy, but I think you outbid yourself because I don't know how many people were bidding for Jarry. Yeah, the Senators were in the mix, but were they really when Korpisalo was their guy to begin with? So to me, that's a one strike against the Pittsburgh Penguins because, again, aging team, let's see where they go. They're on the bubble for me. Again, division's tough, and one of those teams they have to get by, besides the Devils, Carolina Hurricanes. Look, that team continues to improve. Matt Pacioretty's not there anymore. They wanted Don Waddell and Tom Dundon stated they want to improve their offense. They didn't want to go what they went through in the playoffs. You sign Michael Bunting, great signing. You keep Eric Stahl, keep Jesper Fast. You keep your three-headed monster in net, which, again, little surprising that they spent money on Anderson and Ronta and they have Kochetkov there. But again, Ronta's a 1-year deal. Freddie's a 3-year deal. But Dmitry Orlov, what a great signing by Carolina. 2 years, 7.75. Carolina spending some money. They're going to add Tony DeAngelo, but I love the Orlov signing. He's good defensively. He brings offense. And Carolina, with that D, has one of the best Ds in the division. They had a great D last year with Brett Pesce, Brent Burns, guys like that. Still in the mix for Erik Karlsson. Don't know how that dynamic's going to work with Burns and Karlsson. We saw it in San Jose. I'm not really a fan of that. But Orlov gives them a different element. It solidifies their top four. Again, Pesce needs an extension. He's eligible to sign one now. Do they move on from him? What's that dynamic? But I love what they did in Carolina, adding a guy like Dmitry Orlov. Again, 2-year deal, bets on himself. If he has 2 good seasons, say he wants to stay in Carolina after 1 year, he can sign an extension. The cap's going to go up. So I like that. He's betting on himself like a lot of players did this offseason, signing short-term deals. I think that's the name of the game. We expected Orlov to get like a 7-8 year extension, but no. That's what he wanted from Washington, but no, he's going to bet on himself. And then there's Ryan Reaves in Toronto. Now, look, the dynamic in Toronto has changed. And Mike Medina is talking about the signing of Bertuzzi and Domi and everything like that. Look, Ryan Reaves, great player. They're changing their culture in the locker room, on the bench, with Revo, with Domi, with Bertuzzi. But Ryan Reaves has not finished a multi-year contract in the last several seasons. He's been bounced around from the Penguins to the Golden Knights to the Rangers to the Wild. Do we expect him to finish 3 years in Toronto? I'm not sure. But the AAV's fine. I like the fact that maybe some of these guys in Toronto are going to, be different. They're going to come out of their shell a little bit more. Obviously, Austin Matthews is doing a new extension. Willie Nylander's probably going to be on the odd man out coming down the road. They still have more work to do, but I like Revo as a guy. I like what he brings. 3 years a little much for me. We'll see what happens. That's why I'm not a GM. But I think 3 years a little much for Ryan Reaves when you had that type of player in Wayne Simmons. Again, is he going to be effective in the playoffs? Not so sure because it's going to be relied on the top guys. Look, the other guys are great, what they did. But now, Revo's there for the regular season. Let's see what he can do in the playoffs. We've seen him play in the playoffs. He's a threat out there, but how much is he going to play? So very interesting dynamic there. But again, these are just some notable signings. There've been others. Some other teams. Nashville did really good work with Ryan O'Reilly, but to me, you have to be critical and you have to look at the winners. And, to me, Pittsburgh with Jari, I wouldn't have signed it. Reaves 3 years, I might have given him 2. Orlov, great signing in Carolina. So things continue. Things are slowing down. Tarasenko's still out there, so we'll see what happens. But there's been Jim Biringer, MMM Journal, Free Agency Hockey Edition. Take care. Talk to you real soon.